Here's a question. Why isn't President Obama losing right now in the polls? And I'm not even talking by a half a point or whatever. I'm talking, why isn't he down 5 points? Basil gave you a little historical. We've gone into the numbers every day. They don't look good right now, but you'll see in a second, and Andrew will break it down for you, the president's up 2, 3 points, depends on the day, I grant you, but he's still up. I mean, why isn't he being blown out by Romney right now? You check the basic election factoids, and I'll give it to you, but basically, he should be in not a little trouble, deep trouble. Not since 1936, and Basil hit this point, has a president been reelected with unemployment over 7.2%. Right now, at a full point, and that's where we are. Fact is, only one president since '64 is being reelected with a job approval below 50%, and the president's, according to Gallup, he's sitting at 46%. So it's not like they're overly in love with the guy. But when you look at the Gallup polling history and you go back to 1980, you haven't had a president get reelected with people so unhappy with the status quo or the direction they perceive the country to be going in. So you got trends here. Yet, not only is President Obama not being blown out, he is, by everybody who's got a pulse and not an agenda, the slight favorite to win the re-election right now. Sorry, Dominic. We're going to see in our poll updates every night here, and Nate Silver, the blogger from 538, he predicted the '08 election to the number here when it came to the electoral count. Silver gives Obama a better than 2-to-1 chance on getting 4 more years. He's got him up nearly 3 points in the popular vote, and even more so when you break down the red and the blue, he's got him winning the electoral vote by more than 60 points. So why isn't Obama doing worse, or you want to make it positive, why is he doing so much better than history suggests he should be doing? Now, you could argue it's because he's got a weak opponent when it comes to Mitt Romney. There's Romney, and there's a lot of theories as to why. You got him, the Etch-a-Sketch guy, the flip-flopper. It's an image cemented by his own advisors, suggesting here that he moves from position to position, an image Romney seems stuck with thanks to ads like this one. Or it could be that Romney's ties to big business. Trust me, you're going to hear the word Bain every single day, multiple times a day between now and November, is why he's not so popular right now. The Bain years, they've been fodder for Democratic ads, for special interest ads, blaming Mitt, a pro-business and anti-worker, especially when the 1% are not the popular class right now in America. Or it could be something a lot less tangible and even measurable. This morning, Andrew pitched a theory about the 2012 election that was pretty basic. It's usually simple with Andrew. And so short an analysis and numbers, I kid because I care, it actually makes sense. I said that with mock shock. Andrew, do this for me because this guy just, you know.
It's hard to put this in words and describe it in any one phrase, Rich. Call it personality or the X factor or the have a beer with him sense or the want to have the guy over for dinner feeling. But recent history suggests the voters tend to go for lack of a better term, the cooler, less political, more normal, less measured, better on TV, more likable candidate. Take a look back at recent elections with me. 2008, John McCain. What's the Saturday Night Live image of him? Old, angry, mean. You know, he lost to Obama, who was described by his critics as a star or a celebrity. Go back 4 years before that, John Kerry, the elitist on the wind sail, out of touch. He lost to George W. Bush, the guy that more people wanted to have a beer with. 2000, Al Gore, the pop culture image of nerdy, brainiac environmentalist who invented the internet. That guy also lost to George W. Bush. 1996, Clinton versus Bob Dole. Again, think back to Saturday Night Live. Bob Dole is old, stiff, Bob Dole out of touch, and certainly not cool. Bill Clinton, for all his faults, the much cooler candidate. 1992, Bill Clinton against sitting President George H.W. Bush. Bush was seen as both uncool and out of touch. Think of Dana Carvey from Saturday Night Live, not gonna do it. Bush wouldn't be prudent. Bush didn't know the price of milk. He seemed inauthentic on the campaign trail. He lost to Bill Clinton. But as you go back to 1988, even Bush's flaws were easier to laugh at than Michael Dukakis's. Remember Dukakis in the tank? Voters did. Bush won this election easily. 1984, Ronald Reagan, authenticity and personality now legendary versus Walter Mondale, who promised to raise taxes and seemed to campaign on tough choices and just had a miserable countenance most of the time. The advantage there was Reagan in a landslide. And do I even need to remind you of the difference in candidate images back in 1980? The very uplifting Ronald Reagan defeated Jimmy Carter, who was really anything but uplifting. Now, you go back further, other factors like Watergate or Vietnam seem to carry more weight than personality and image. Plus, the more recent the elections, you've got more television and more internet, the 24/7 news cycle. the superficial quality is more important. Now, flashback to today, where the choice for voters is Barack Obama versus this guy.
I love this state. The trees are the right height. I like seeing the lakes. I love the lakes. I love cars. It also means that if you don't like what they do, you can fire them. I like being able to fire people who provide services to me. You're simply wrong.
It was true then.
No.
It's true now.
Rick, I'll tell you what. 10,000 bucks? $10,000 bet? I'm in this race because I care about Americans. I'm not concerned about the very poor. We have a safety net. Who let the dogs out? Who? Hey, buddy, how you doing? What's happening? You got some bling bling here too. Who's it?
How you like this music behind us right now, huh?
Well, I like music of almost any kind, including this. I'm not sure about these cookies. They don't look like you made them. Did you make those cookies? You didn't, did you? No. They came from the local 7-Eleven bakery or whatever. I have some great friends that are NASCAR team owners. They also tell my story. I'm also unemployed. I'm learning to say y'all, and I like grits, and strange things are happening to me.
Mitt Romney reminds me of, you know, when you were 16, your parents, everything they said was uncool, and you're like, oh, just stay away. Don't. There's a sense of that, and Obama is I think by any measure, the cooler candidate. I think that matters more than we might want to give that credit for.
You were around the Clintons, and you got, we all remember Bill Clinton on Arsenio playing the sax and stuff.
Who's got a show coming back, by the way.
Yeah, okay. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Arsenio or Bill Clinton?
Arsenio.
He had a better chance of ratings than Bill Clinton. But anyway, you buy what he's selling?
Yeah, it's likability. That's really what it is. It's all about likability. And you can be as upset. I mean, take 2012, take 2004, and flip the candidates, flip the parties. You had a Republican incumbent and the guy that was the Democratic standard bearer, and John Kerry. Everybody wanted to vote against George Bush, but they didn't love John Kerry. So, Bush won by a very slim margin. And I think here, people like Mitt Romney, but do they love him enough that sort of goes beyond the anti-Obama sentiment to vote him in?
See, for me, Dom, I get the point if it's relatability, but they could think the guy's the biggest dweeb on two legs. If he's going to get them back to work and get a job, they don't have to like the guy, but they'll vote for him. I just think the bigger issue for Romney is the relatability, because he doesn't, I don't feel your pain, right? He doesn't understand. They get the image of him with the elevator in the car, for the car elevator in the house here, or what did he say about the lemonade thing?
Oh, lemon wet good. He was in a parade. He had some lemonade. They asked him to describe it, and his description was lemon wet good.
So he's either literally a robot, or he just doesn't get remotely 99% of this country. Is there something to that?
I don't know. I will tell you this much.
I know you think the president's in trouble, but don't you think he should be in more trouble given if you were an alien, you dropped on this planet, you looked at the numbers, you looked at the history that they reference, and Basil did too. Wouldn't you think that if he was at all relatable, I mean, he'd be up 5-6 points on Obama?
No, I think that given the primary that Romney came from, that he's in a good position right now to take on President Obama. I think that likability matters, but as you just said, the bottom line is people want a job. And the reel that we just aired on Mr. Romney, we could have easily done the same thing with President Obama.
But he didn't come up
and his blunders. And we could also say that the president is always on teleprompter, so maybe that's why he doesn't make those same mistakes.
And I will also add,
so that was a bit unfair.
I don't know, but I will
there's
also
more of a stiffness to Romney than there is to Obama.
I don't know.
There may be more of a stiffness, but I don't know if Obama is the feel your pain kind of guy either, quite frankly.
Maybe not.
And certainly not the way Bill Clinton was. And he also also to that and also to sort of follow on that point from a political standpoint, he's not the political animal that Bill Clinton was. He's a brilliant man.
But I'll tell you who's not.
But
Like, Mike Huckabee would have had his own baggage, but Huckabee, not just the base. The public would have liked the guy and figured he's been to a Wawa, and he wouldn't have asked his advisor, what the hell's a Wawa, like Romney did. I'm not saying that's enough to get somebody elected, but the usual advantage of being, listen, I've built businesses, I've managed thousands of people, I've done X, Y, and Z, that usually is enough to sell people in a tough economy to say, I'll go with somebody else just for change's sake. It's not selling as well. And I think if there was a different seller for,
we'll see.
for the message, we will
We'll see, because
that
it's
at least
also.
we will figure out in November.
But
Yeah.
just quickly, I know we're out of time. It's always
But you're
tough
gonna
to
keep on
beat.
talking.
It's
Yeah.
always tough to beat an incumbent. Look at George W. Bush.
All right.
It's always tough. History has shown that.
Yeah, Jimmy Carter will tell you different.